too. Happy to be back with our December wine of the month. And I gotta tell you, if you're from Pennsylvania, this may be the best value we've brought to you yet. If you're not, still listen along. Great winery and a great winemaker to talk about. The wine that I've chosen for December is the Qupé 2013 Santa Barbara County Syrah. This is a wine that is widely available in the Pennsylvania state stores right now for a ridiculous $12.99 a bottle. Just unbelievable. It's founded by legendary winemaker Bob Lindquist. Bob kind of got into wine by accident. Family moved from Colorado to Southern California in the 60s. Grew up a child of the 60s, in love with music. Finds himself working at a wine store at some point. Gives a couple months advance notice that he wants to go to a Kinks concert on a Sunday. Everyone agrees till the weekend of the concert, and the wine shop owner reneges. He wants to go hunting that weekend and tells Bob, if you don't come in and open the shop on Sunday, you're fired on Monday. So Bob does what any of us would do, right? He goes to the concert. And lo and behold, he shows up on Sunday or on Monday, and the owner fires him. Now, the wrinkle here is that one of the guys that Bob went with was Jim Clendenin, who was the assistant winemaker at Zacca Mesa Winery, which was owned by this wine shop's father. So Jim puts in a good word with the Zacca Mesa owner, and the father hires Bob Lindquist as a tour guide at Zacca Mesa the day that his son fires him from the wine shop. So kind of serendipitous, right? But Bob spends his time mainly not doing tours, because there's not a lot of tourism in this part of Southern California at the time, but really kind of working in the cellar alongside Jim Clendenin and some other kind of Southern California pioneers in winemaking royalty looking back on it. Ken Brown, who founded Byron Cellars, Jim Clendenin, obviously, from Aubon Clément and Clendenin Family Cellars, Adam Tolmach from the Ojai Vineyards. So really kind of hands-on, learned a lot from these guys, and catches a bug to make wine on his own, talks to the owners of Zacca Mesa, and convinces them to let him use the Zacca Mesa facility to create Qupé and make Qupé wines. So in 1982 and 83, Bob makes his first couple vintages of Qupé wines at the Zacca Mesa facility. He makes a Chardonnay because he knows he can sell it, and he also makes some Syrah that he buys fruit from Pittsburgh native, actually, Gary Eberly, up in Paso Robles. Now, for the first couple years Bob's making this Syrah, he realizes that he's always adding acid to the must. It's not kind of coming out the way that he wants it to, and he thinks that maybe Paso is a little too warm climate for the Syrah that he's trying to make. So he talks to the Miller family, who owns and runs Bien Nacido Vineyard in Santa Maria Valley, much cooler climate, and they graft some Syrah onto some vines for Bob to make. In 1987, he goes out with the first release of Bien Nacido Syrah to rave reviews, and the rest is kind of history, right? He's planted many more blocks of Syrah now at Bien Nacido, and he's kind of become the master of these Rhône varietals in Southern California. His wines are known, I would say, to be a little bit more on the savory side than the fruity side. Very European in style, very focused, very fresh, very elegant. A little lower alcohol, a little higher acidity than some other California examples, and known to age tremendously well. Some of the first examples that Bob has made are still holding up to this day. So he's really set kind of the benchmark for a cool climate Syrah here. One of the founders of the Rhône Rangers in the 80s. So, you talk about Rhône wines in Southern California, Bob Lindquist is the guy. Now, all that said, they have had some recent woes at Qupé. In 2011, there was a firm that bought them to inject some capital. They exited out of the deal in 2013 when Charles Banks bought them. Charles Banks quickly had some legal problems with NBA star Tim Duncan, who was one of his clients, and I think is actually serving some time in federal prison right now. So that relationship kind of deteriorated pretty quickly. And then just as recently as November of this year, in 2018, another company actually bought Qupé. Now, with all that trial and tribulation, the one thing that has remained constant is that Bob Lindquist has always been the winemaker. And I think Bob just wants to express what a Rhône varietal can do in this part of the world, but have the backing and certainly the scalability and the resources of a big company from a sales and marketing and production side. So, and by the way, Bob just seems like a great guy. Haven't talked to him or met him personally, but I sent an email to the Qupé website asking about this wine that I wanted to review, and Bob responded to me personally. So still excited to talk about his wine, and I find that to be just awesome. So they're making a couple different Syrahs right now. They do an entry-level Central Coast bottling, and that's about $20 a bottle, and the fruit from that can come really Central Coast is anything from San Francisco Bay down all the way to Santa Barbara. So you've got Monterey, you've got Paso Robles that we talked about, that's kind of a warm climate. Then you get to San Luis Obispo, where you've got Edna Valley and Arroyo Grande Valley, and then you get into Santa Barbara, where you've got Santa Maria Valley, San Ynez Valley, Happy Canyon, Ballard Canyon, Los Olivos, and you've got Santa Rita Hills, where Jean Parr is doing some great stuff with Domaine de la Côte, right? So these cooler climate, kind of more known for Pinot, right? Pinot and Chardonnay. And then he's doing some higher end Syrah, where he's doing single vineyard expressions from Bien Nacido, from his own vineyard, Sawyer Lindquist Vineyard up in Edna Valley, that he planted in 2005. And I also saw that he's doing some Parisima Mountain Syrah, which is owned by the Beckman Vineyard, right next to Honada and to Stoltman. So, just really prime time, great vineyard sources. He also does some Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre blends, and then certainly the whites, the Marsanne, the Roussanne, the Viognier. So, and he still makes a Chardonnay just to kind of stay true to character from when he first started. So where does this bottle really fit in the lineup? It's a fun bottle, Santa Barbara County designation, which he doesn't make anymore. 75% of the fruit from this came from that Bien Nacido site in Santa Barbara, and 25% of the fruit came from his Sawyer Lindquist Vineyard, which is not in Santa Barbara County. And again, like a varietal, you just need 75% to call it something. So 75% Cab, you can call it Cab. 75% Santa Barbara County fruit, you can call it Santa Barbara County Syrah in this case. This is 100% Syrah, 22 months in 25% new French oak, so fairly neutral oak treatment here. And let's jump right into it, right? So the color here is actually darkened up with a little bit of air since I poured it. But what I noticed right away is that it's a little bit more translucent than some Syrahs. It's not a very opaque color. You can kind of see right through the glass. Almost Pinot Noir-esque. Good extraction of color. It's much darker than Pinot, but very, very clear in the glass. On the nose, wow, just gamey, smoked meat, pepper, savory herb, black fruits. It's got that barnyard funk that I love in European wines. It's got this savageness that Syrah can have, and it's just an incredibly complex nose for a $12.99 wine. I mean, you can see why this retailed originally at $30 a bottle. This is a fantastic, complex nose on Syrah. Let's give it a whirl. Okay. Wow, medium bodied. Yeah, it's very fresh. It's very clean, very elegant, very focused. Black fruits, a little bit of that pepper, a lot of earthiness. Just a tremendous amount of complexity for the price. Really fine-grained tannins, and an excellent acidic lift there that kind of finishes this whole thing out. This thing's going to age really, really well, I believe. I think you're going to be drinking this for many years. So here's what I would do. $12.99 a bottle in Pennsylvania. Guys, go out and buy a bottle. Give it a shot. If you like it, you need to buy a case of this, right? You're going to spend $165-ish on a case of this wine. Make it be your house red for the holidays. People are going to love it, and it's going to go really well. Better yet, what you can do, what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go buy myself a case of this. I'm going to rate the year on the back of each bottle from 2018 up through 2030. And I'm going to open a bottle of this every Christmas and just see how this evolves. Very rarely can you do that because wine that's age-worthy is typically very expensive. Here you're going to get a $13 bottle. In 2030, you're going to be drinking what is then a 17-year-old bottle of Syrah. You're going to be blown away by the complexity, blown away by the earthiness that comes out of an aged wine. And these wines are known to hold up well. And you're going to know that you paid $13 for it when you bought it. It's going to be a great story someday. So that's what I would recommend doing with it. So guys, hey, happy holidays to you and your family. I really look forward to coming back in January to do a wine of the month and ringing in 2019 with you. For now, let me know what you're thinking of these videos. Like them, comment on them, share them if you can. Get the word out. Really happy to share this journey with everyone. Let me know if the content is good, if the length is good, if you want more information, less information, other topics you'd like me to cover, other wines or wine styles you want to hear about. I'm all ears. I really want to kind of put out content that's making the world of wine a smaller place for everyone. So, again, here's to expanding your palate, drinking new varietals.